What's going on, everyone? So, day 12, and it's a pretty cool read. Um, I enjoyed this one, and this one, this video's reading was Genesis chapter 37 all the way through the end of 41, as guided by through the 1 year through the Bible devotional. So this reading is pretty cool. It talks about Joseph, and Joseph had dreams, and like literal go to sleep and have dreams. And he went to his brothers and he's like, guys, I had these dreams, and they basically said that I was gonna be the man, like I'm gonna be a ruler. All these people are gonna be bowing down to me. And his brothers, in a way, were a little jealous, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, even us, like, we're gonna bow down to you? Yeah, right. No way, dude. And basically, they got mad and they got upset, and they started to hate him. And he had another dream, and he went to his father, and he's like, hey, Dad, check this out. I had this dream, and all of the earth and the moon and the stars are all gonna bow down to me. I'm going to be a ruler. And even his father was like, he wasn't quite having it. Well, his brothers took off to go tend some sheep, do some shepherding or whatever. And Joseph's father was like, here, take your coat. He made him this coat because at the time Joseph was his father's kind of favorite son. And so he made him this coat, had a bunch of colors on it. Might have heard of it, Joseph and his coat of many colors. Anyway, he says, here, take your coat and go find your brothers. So Joseph takes off and goes and tries to find his brothers, and they're like, look, we're in this place. Nobody really knows we're here. Nobody knows that Joseph has found us yet, but we see him coming. Let's just kill him. Like, we don't like the guy. We can't stand him. Let's just kill him. And his brother Reuben was like, no. Let's not kill him. Let's just, push him into this pit, and we'll take his coat and, say that some beast of the field got him, and basically, this animal killed him. And so they were like, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's push him. So they pushed him into this pit. And when they did that, they saw some, a traveling tribe basically passing by. And they're like, killing him's not doing anything. Let's sell him into slavery to these folks. So they pulled him out, took his coat, sold him to these people for 20 pieces of silver. And he was gone. And they were like, sweet. Doused his, they took one of the small kids of, a goat, baby goat, and kind of slaughtered it and doused some blood on Joseph's coat and took it back to their father. And they're like, hey, look, isn't this Joseph's coat? And the dad was like, oh, it is his coat. Surely he's been eaten by some beast in the field or whatever. And he got all super depressed, which is understandable. He, thinks that he just lost a son. Well, Joseph was actually made a slave in this house where some things happened with the master's wife, that she was trying to get him to be with her, and he was like, nope, not having it. And he was like, not gonna do it, just not gonna happen. Well, long story short, she basically said, oh, he came in here and I had to say no, and he ran, and so he got thrown in prison. While he was in prison, he was like, he was a godly man. He kept serving God, and he kept his faith strong. and worked his way up into a prison administrator, basically. The warden of the prison was like, hey, this guy, he's, he could be down and out, but he's really not. So, kind of moves him up, and a couple guys in the prison had these dreams, and one was a butler of the Pharaoh, and the other one was a baker of the Pharaoh. And when the two dreams happened, they were talking about it. The butler told about his dream to Joseph, and Joseph was like, well, this is what it means. And when the baker heard and saw what was going on, and he said, to Joseph, this happened in my dream, and Joseph was like, okay, well, that's what this means. And they saw it kind of, okay, yeah, cool, that, he's right, that is what it means. And even Joseph said, he says in chapter 41 verse 25, he said unto Pharaoh, because Pharaoh started having these dreams. He had two dreams, and they brought Joseph in, because Pharaoh was kind of freaking out, like, I don't know what this means, like, these dreams are weird, I don't know what's going on. So they brought Joseph in, and Joseph said to Pharaoh, like, the dreams of Pharaoh are one dream. God's shown Pharaoh what he's about to do. And so he basically explained that these two dreams are one dream with two, or two dreams with one meaning. And he said, he basically broke it down to saying, there's about to be 7 years of plenty, basically. There's going to be 7 years where there's a whole bunch of food, like an excess of food. And after that, there's going to be 7 years of famine. So Joseph was like, you need to get somebody in place and get ready, and because God's telling you what's going to happen. He's showing you, and because he showed you twice, you can know that that's how it was from God, is basically what he said. So Pharaoh was like, well, who are we supposed to get? Who are we supposed to do this? Have do this? And it's kind of cool. Chapter 41, verse 38, Pharaoh said to his servants, can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And so he was like, you know what, Joseph, you're that guy. So basically what Pharaoh said was, the only part of all of my kingdom that I'm going to be greater than you is in the seat, or in the throne, as Pharaoh. Other than that, I'm going to make you ruler of all of this, everything, all of Egypt, basically. And so over the next 7 years, Joseph did what he told Pharaoh to do. Like, the 7 years are going to come, you need to stockpile food and stockpile food and stockpile food. And in the end of verse 41, in the end of chapter 41, the 7 years of famine started to begin. And the famine wasn't just in Egypt, it was everywhere. Like, everything was. And people started coming to Pharaoh, and they're like, what do we do? We're hungry, there's no food. And he said, go to Joseph. Go to him, and whatever he says, you do it. So people started coming to him, it says, and the last verse 57 of chapter 41, it says, and all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy corn, because the famine was so sore in all lands. So, knowing this story, I'm excited for tomorrow's reading, or the next video's reading, because I know what happens, because this is, again, one of my favorite stories. But I thought it was really cool in this reading how even in the worst times, even being basically sold into slavery by his brothers, Joseph was just like, okay, gonna just keep serving God. I'm gonna keep doing what God wants me to do. And because of that, he profits, and I just think that's really cool. He keeps doing what he's been told to do and keeps moving forward. And we're gonna see how awesome that plays out probably in tomorrow's reading, which tomorrow's reading is starting in chapter 42 and ending all the way. We're gonna go 42 all the way through to the end of 45. So, man, what do you guys think, like, about today's reading? Was it cool? Was it not cool? Was it boring? Let me know in the comments below. I actually really like this story in the Bible. It's one of my favorites. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And don't forget, if you are wanting to follow along and you don't yet have a Through the Bible 1-year devotional, it's in the description below, along with my with the link for the Bible that I use, which is an Everyday Study Bible. And so if you need one of those, go grab it. And make sure you tune in tomorrow, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, for the next video. Like I said, if you have any prayer requests, leave them in the comments below as well. And if you have any suggestions for me on how to make these videos a little better, or what you'd like to see a little more in these videos, let me know in the comments below. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and yeah, see you then.